We are one. We know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me. We are not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Swallow your pride. If I
Welcome to our world. Turn your CDs up.
Well, we're back. Hope you enjoyed part one of our show. I hope you enjoyed our advert for Da Vinci Mobility. Remember, give them a dial. Ding, 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 ding. Is that Da Vinci Mobility? Yep, Mark speaking. How can I help? That's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to get. Hey, I thought part one was brilliant, but part two is what I think most of you are waiting for. And what we're going to have in part two? In part two, we're going to have the banning of JP, which is, you can't believe, it's unbelievable. The letter that was sent about myself. And then finally the plea. So let's get straight to it.
Okay.
So, what I'm going to ask you, how did you get to be banned? What did you do that you think deserved a ban?
What did I do,
Yeah.
or what are they saying I did?
What do you think you done? And then what did they say you done?
Well, I think I did nothing.
Right, fine. So you done nothing. What did they say you done?
So they said, what's going to happen now, by the way, you're going to start seeing my emails and emails coming up from Justine Baines. They opened up by saying, an email from Justine came to me and said...
So, John, what did they say you did?
Well, the way it starts, and you can follow the emails now, I got an email on the 19th of March from Justine Baines, the CEO, saying, please find an attached letter from the chair of the board. And the letter stated that they were considering banning me. So I had to reply, and I wrote back to Justine the same day. Morning, Justine. I hope you can imagine this email arriving last night came as a complete surprise, and if I'm honest, has had me up most of the night wondering what exactly has caused this situation. As you will be aware, this is the first year in over a decade I've been back in the sport of wheelchair basketball after retiring in 2012. And since I jumped through all the hoops that were required, I find this email rather distressing. Where, when, and what have I supposedly done to make the Board of Trustees react in such an intimidating manner? I knew getting back into the sport was going to be a difficult challenge, even more so with my reputation. The attached letter in the email from the chair of the board doesn't really give much detail to what I have done wrong. So if you could shed some more light on this matter, please, it would ease my nerves. If you have any proof of my wrongdoing, could you share it? That would be also a huge help in understanding this.
So,
if this reply is read out to the board on the date mentioned, is it possible I can say sorry and we can move on from this traumatic situation?
So, the first letter you get doesn't even actually tell you why.
It says that I used misogynistic, inciting violence, I think, and threats towards members of the staff.
So obviously you've replied to say...
And the threats that they've stated say there were threats to the CEO, Justine Baines.
So, okay. So, if they're threats to her, this is my point, first point on it. If they're threats to her, why is she writing it to you? Why is she writing it? Because it's about her.
Yeah, why was the board not contacting me directly? But we'll get into that.
Yeah, so I'm just asking that question so we make it clear. So,
Yeah.
they're saying that you made threats to Justine. Justine is the person that they're saying you made threats, alleged made threats, yet she is the one who's writing to you to say, not the chair of the board. So basically, they're breaking their own rules again.
Yeah.
Okay, carry on.
Then Justine wrote back and said she'd provide some clarity. The board are aware of your participation in a number of videos that have been published on YouTube, where you and others have made comments about British wheelchair basketball members of staff, volunteers, and others involved in the sport, which could be considered negative, offensive, and derogatory. This is the contravention of the Code of Conduct of British Wheelchair Basketball, which states that you should refrain from posting negative or derogatory comments on social media about other participants. Under the articles of the association, the board can remove a member from the membership by resolution of the trustees that they feel is in the best interest of the company.
So they don't want any negative publicity. That's what that says to me. They don't want anything negative said about them. Because soon as they put some negative, they issue you with a threat to ban you. Yep. Am I clear on that? Okay.
Yeah. And that, as you see in that letter, does say, I breached the code of conduct. Just remember that.
So you breach it. So basically, you breached the code of conduct. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. If you wish the board to hear any representation from you or your representatives, please send this to the chair of the board, Jules Park Robinson.
So I've got a problem with that bit there, right there. And the reason I've got a problem with that is they still haven't stated where, when, and what it was.
No, so
just quick, John. How can you reply to something when you don't know where, when, and what it was?
Yeah, exactly. They're accusing me of something, but not. Don't forget, for this to have got to this stage, there had to have been an allegation. If we're sticking to BWB rules, they had to have received an allegation either in writing or by email. And if that was the case, and they've stuck to the rules, I should have got a copy of the allegation.
That's one.
I never did.
And two,
I never did.
And two, as they've stated, that the allegation looks like it's about the CEO. Why is she in this email trail?
Exactly. But that'll develop more. So the next email I wrote back, I'm writing to you again, this time in regard to the advice of my legal advisor. In the letter from the board and the reply you sent me under this email, you both have not made it clear what I have said or done to find myself in this situation. So once again, I was asking what I've done wrong. From what I've been told from my legal advisor and the apparent rule breaks I've committed in regards to the code of conduct, really, your code of conduct must state every member must agree with everything your association does. That's what I'm trying to point out. That because I've spoke out and I've not said they're a world-leading national governing body because I disagree with it, because I said they've made a cock-up about the women's WPL, because I'm saying they're wasting a lot of money doing that, because I'm criticising them.
You got kicked out?
For not having a full-time senior men's coach, and because I said it's disgusting, there's no pathway for the juniors, I get banned. But I go on to say, how can I defend myself if I don't know what I'm defending myself on? Hence, I need to know in detail the comments you're accusing me of, because I'm unaware of any comments referring to what you're saying. All this is back and forth with Justine Baines, remember?
Who is the alleged person that you was meant to have said something about?
Yeah, a threat of violence to. The resolution of the board, Justine wrote back, concerns the videos that you have been part of, posted on YouTube, entitled I.W.B.Delinquents Wheelchair Basketball Archive, specifically episodes The Delinquent Show 10, 11, and 12. Now, at the time of these emails, we reformatted the listings because we was joining Spotify. So we had to put the episodes in numerical order. So 10, 11, and 12 actually is 14, 15, and 16 in the new numerical order. So just remember that 14, 15, and 16 have misogynistic comments, threats of violence, derogatory language, and what was the other one? Inciting violence. The code of conduct does not prevent any members from having an opinion. Well, that's bullshit.
It clearly does.
It does. The board will consider whether they believe that the comments you have made in all the videos fall into the categories, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So she's basically writing the same back to me as she did in the last one. So I wrote back again. Once again, you're showing a lack of being unprofessional by not giving me the comments that hit the categories you state. We've rewatched 10, 11, and 12. We can't spot them. In fact, we had 27 different people check these episodes, and we can't find them. But they're trying to ban me anyway at this point. So I point out to Justine, why are you writing to me? Why is the board not writing to me? And I get an email back saying, Dear Mr. Pollock, I apologise for not sending you the email address for the chair of the board. I have CC'd her into the reply, so you have it. As I said in my previous email, the resolution concerns the 3 videos that you have been part of posted on YouTube. So they still won't say what comments I personally said on them shows.
But my point is, John Steele, why is she heading this up?
Exactly. Well, it gets deeper than that. Never mind her heading it up. Gets deeper than that. So from that last email where Justine actually apologised because she was asking me to correspondence directly with the chair of the board, but no one was giving me the email of the chair of the board.
Or the chair of the board should be emailing you, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm not doing it through the CEO. That's, in hindsight, looking like she's the alleger. Let's be blunt about it. She's the alleger, isn't she?
Yeah, but she's...
The threats of violence have made towards the CEO, and she's the CEO. She's the alleger, and she shouldn't have been writing to me. That's a rule break. So then I get an email off the chair of the board, Jules Park. Dear Mr. Pollock, please find attached a letter notifying you of the outcome of the British
The
board
outcome.
meeting.
Did you say the outcome?
Yeah, the outcome. Consider your membership in accordance with our Articles of Association. So if you haven't already seen it, but it is, if you click on governance on the website and then go to where it says extraordinary meeting, which was dated the 9th of May 2024, you can see it says extraordinary board meeting. This letter appears, which says board meeting. It was explained that the purpose of the meeting was to consider the continued membership of Jonathan Pollock following videos that were posted on YouTube. The board were to decide the content of these had breached episodes 10, 11, and 12 of the BWB Code of Conduct.
Right, hold on, John.
So once again, I've breached the Code of Conduct.
Yeah, so who was at that meeting?
Well, in section 2, as you can see on your screen, apologies was Sam Whale and Kirsten Further. But in attendance was Jules Parker Robinson, Emma Calvert, Kevin Anloir, Claire Griffith, Tanya Harris, Joe Bezic, Emma Foden, Chris Hassel, Francis Kremerick, Justine Baines, and Tina Shepperson did the minutes.
Right, so hold on there. Right away, another rule's broken. Justine Baines is the CEO who's the alleged you said something about her or the show has. Why is she at that meeting that makes that decision?
Exactly.
It's impartial.
Yeah.
It doesn't stand up.
Now, don't forget, right now, this board and this association have not provided me with the comments where I've threatened Justine. They've not provided me with the misogynistic comments I've made. They've not provided the evidence showing inciting violence, and they have not shown any derogatory language said by myself. But in section 3, is what you can see on the screen, the resolution of the board by JPR, Jules Parker Robinson, it was unanimously agreed by the board that there was a breach of the B.W.B. Code of Conduct, and that because of this, the membership of the individual concerned should be terminated for a period of 5 years.
So, not only have they made a decision which they can't make, they didn't send it to the disciplinary board panel to make the decision, which is in their rules. If you broke the code of conduct, it has to go to the disciplinary panel. So they basically decided we're not going to do any of that. That's in our constitution or our rules. We're just going to make the decision ourselves.
Basically,
also, the person that we allege making these whatever it was, she's on the board to make that decision.
Yeah. So basically, the things that they've cocked up on as of right now is, I never got a copy of the allegation, so I don't know who the alleger is. But by the sounds of it, it's Justine Baines, the CEO. If she's the alleger, she can't be in that meeting, and she can't have a vote to make it unanimous.
And she can't have the correspondence with you in the first place. She shouldn't be making that correspondence from you.
Exactly. She shouldn't have been emailing me to start off with. Now, as you can see on the screen, Procedure 6 of the disciplinary procedure, there's the diagram from their own website, which says, at a receipt of the allegation, then the arrow goes down, triage meeting, they've had that. Then the allegation gets categorized. Well, which category does a breach of conduct fall in? I would say a disciplinary allegation.
Yep.
At that point, it goes down to a disciplinary policy, which only has one red arrow going into an investigation, which then the red arrow goes down into the panel and then the decision.
Well, there was no panel.
There was no panel. There was no hearing. There was no panel. There was no evidence.
So the board
They've never told me.
The board members made the decision, which they shouldn't have. It should have gone down that path, which is in their own, on their website, and it should have been a disciplinary panel, which is independent. You didn't have nobody independent of the board on that panel. You didn't have a panel. How can you make a decision? How can you come to this decision when you don't have a panel?
Exactly. It should have been an independent panel as well. It should have been if you go by their rules, you know, they're saying we breached the code of conduct rules. Well, if you go off their rules, this should have gone to a panel which was independent. The panel can't have the alleged on it. You don't see someone in court doing someone for burglary,
and the burglars with the jury. I didn't do it, Your Honour. I didn't do it. I promise you. No.
Yeah.
So
absolutely scandalous.
So I would think, John, they've handed you down the 5-year ban, which is totally excessive. When you look at some of the other bans that they put down, that are like 2 years.
A ban in general is
totally excessive for your first offence. For your first offence, even if you did, for your first offence, it's way excessive. Yeah, surely. Well, I know you had the right to appeal, didn't you?
Yeah, I never had the chance of an appeal. In fact, the way I got shut down, I wrote back to, after that letter came, I wrote back to Jules Park this email. I had sent several emails asking for what comments I made that were negative, offensive, and derogatory. And also to which staff members you are stating I said this about. All we've been told is it's episodes 10, 11, and 12. But my solicitor can't work out which comments you're referring to. Also, my legal team want to know who was in the meeting that came up with the ban and how you came up with the figure of 5 years. So I asked Jules Parker Robinson that. Now, this is where the email just goes absolutely off scale. She wrote back to me, "Dear Mr. Pollock, thank you for your recent email regarding the termination of your membership. Under the articles of the association that they govern how the Board of Trustees must run the organisation, section 5.4, it's on the screen, you can read it. As at the bottom it says, as I have previously explained, I have received a resolution to the board to consider the termination of your membership, after which the process outlined above, the unanimous decision of the board at the meeting on the 9th of April was to terminate your membership with immediate effect. The length of ban reflects the seriousness with which the board takes this matter, but that they would like to consider enabling your potential return to the organisation in the future. The articles of the association are not clear that the board are not required to provide you with a reason for the termination of your membership. So they don't have to provide a reason why they're banning me now. Do you see how the pendulum swung? All them allegations, which is defamation of character, because I never said nothing misogynistic, I never said anything derogatory, I never said anything of threats of violence.
But you did say the truth.
Exactly. Then it goes on to say, however, in the interest of transparency, I am happy to explain that the board found that during YouTube videos you have posted, formed of various episodes, you have made derogatory and offensive comments about staff members, and you have used threatening language towards the CEO.
So again, the CEO is the one that they're talking about, because they don't mention anybody else, but yet she has a vote on to ban you. This is like a kangaroo court. We weren't even joking to say it's a kangaroo court. So obviously, we've said that. Let's get back. You had the right to appeal. Correct me if I'm wrong.
They never offered it me. I'll get to that bit. Finishes off by saying, we do not wish to stop anyone holding an opinion about British wheelchair basketball and how it's run.
Bollocks.
Everyone is entitled to have, and indeed share, an opinion. However, the board felt that the behaviour in these episodes concerns did not meet the standards that we expect our membership, and that you have therefore breached the code of conduct. The threatening nature of the communications went beyond holding a valid opinion about the management of the organisation. So threatening behaviour, threats of violence, derogatory comments, misogynistic comments, inciting violence, all these things are said. When I got that email, I finished off by saying to Jules Parker Robinson again, I find this whole matter rather poorly managed and a conspiracy, which I am happy to share to all the members because of several points simply you have not fulfilled. 1, I have asked on several occasions what are the comments I have made under derogatory, offensive and threatening now towards a CEO. I have asked, number 2, I have asked which other staff members these so-called comments were aimed at. Number 3, all I have been told is it's episodes 10, 11 and 12. My legal team still cannot find the comment that falls into the above categories. 4, who was in the meeting held on the 9th? Well, now we know, obviously, by the banning letter. Number 5, the allegation of my comments should have been sent in and reported by post or email. As your rules say, it's a written allegation. Yet I never received a copy to defend myself. Why is that? And finally, who was the voters for the unanimous decision? Because obviously we know now who's in the letter. Try answering the above I've put. All the above have never been explained to me. You've breached protocol if my comments were aimed at the CEO. She should never have been involved in all of this. Yet she was the one emailing me all this from the beginning. Therefore, I request this matter to be relooked at Regards, John Pollock. Do you know what Jules Parker Robinson's reply to that was?
Show it. Show it. Is it there? Can they see it?
Yeah, they can see it now. Dear Mr. Pollock, I have responded to your emails and explained the process and extent to which we are required to share information. I consider the matter closed and will not be engaging in any further conversation. That is shut down.
So, no right to appeal. Not going through any process. No evidence put forward. Not going through the posted. And they say that we are the bullies?
Yeah. And in writing, you would have seen on your screen, they have the right to terminate your membership without reason.
And if they don't like what you say. Unbelievable, John. Unbelievable. I don't even know what to say. I know all of this already, but it still fathers me that they can't even go down their own procedure, get a proper panel, a disciplinary panel, make the decision, give you the right of appeal, because everybody has the right of appeal. You know what I mean? Even that child killer had, even the child killer who was convicted of all of these offences, she got a right to appeal.
I know people, I've seen it, I've looked into it. I know people who've gone down for manslaughter that haven't served 5 years.
But
now I've done nothing. All the alleged that they've stated,
is
they have not proven. They have not proven it. They've just alleged it. But then that little note in one of the emails where it says we
can do what we want,
have the power to ban and terminate membership without reason, is the biggest load of bullshit I've ever seen.
Because on their website, they banned somebody else for safeguarding issues for only 2 years.
Yep.
And another person on there for only a couple of years. So,
man, no, the other person, he's banned until he fulfills the coaching requirements that they've asked for. That's it.
Make up your mind, guys. See, these are the people that are in charge of your sport. They don't want you to say...
It's all like them sitting in that office where no one answers a phone and no one answers an email. But they'll advertise, come and pay £200 and £400 for bullshit level 1 and level 2 coaching clinics. Come and do your safeguarding. Drive people out the sport, i.e. table officials and referees, because they won't do the UKAD coach clean courses, despite referees and table officials never getting drug tested. These people are just created an almighty dictatorship of a multi-million-pound company.
You know, like you heard in part 1, some of the stuff. This stuff's personal. The second one, this part 2 of John's ban is personal. He's been banned for no reason at all. The only reason he's been banned is because he's speaking out about the sport that he loves and played for over 40 odd years. That's the reason. Because he's not kissing their ass like other people do. He's pointing out their flaws. He's absolutely pointing out their flaws. So, are you...
So to summarise, before we move on to the big bit, let me just summarise. They never give me evidence. They never gave me a copy of the allegation. They never give me a process of an appeal. They never gave me reason how they came up with the figure of 500. They broke the rule by Justine, who's more than likely going to be the alleger, emailing and being involved. Justine was involved in the meeting as the alleger. She should not have been involved.
There was no disciplinary panel.
And the final one is they shut me down the moment I tried to email back regarding I want the evidence.
And that's
they don't want to talk about this matter anymore.
And that is the chairman, the chairperson. Sorry, not man. Sorry, chairperson of our association.
Who should know better, by the way, considering she's an ex-military investigator. She must have knew that all this evidence is out there, and we could have researched it, and we have, and we've checked. You've broke your rules.
Well, I'll tell you what, if she was a military investigator, I wouldn't like to have come up above her, because you know you're knackered straight away. So there's John's story.
All the time they want to take your place, but backstab. of suspicion points at you.
Just ridiculous. These are the people that you still got in charge. These are the people that are going to be running your game unless you do something. The CEO, step down. The chair of the board, you should be stepping down.
Anyone on that board
And
should
everybody else. And everybody else.
Anyone who was involved in that meeting about me should no longer be in the sport, because you've all been part of a conspiracy. You've all been part of that conspiracy because you all voted unanimously, because none of you had the balls to say what we're doing here is wrong. You voted to deal with the conspiracy.
Right. So if you think that's bad, let's get on to me.
Oh, I can't wait for this bit.
Go ahead, John. You lead me in.
I'll lead you in. So let's explain to people. You're part of the Delinquents, right? You helped found this almighty, non-funded ship that we sail at the minute, right?
The only part I'm not involved in is the Cobra meetings. Obviously, everybody knows that.
So I'm going to point things out now where I want you to answer.
Yeah, go ahead. I might need to take a drink first.
Once Murray left the game, did you apply to be the men's team manager, team coach?
I applied to be the men's and the women's coach.
Right. And tell the people what happened in that situation.
Oh, basically, I was stabbed in the back by... I'm not even going to mention his name because he's not even worth mentioning. And
well, we won't have to mention his name, but we'll say the person who took over.
All right, the person who took over.
Yeah.
And
why did he stab you in the back?
Because he took all of what I was going to do and made it himself. So the board then said, oh, you don't have the qualifications. You're not really qualified to be the head coaches of the women or the men. And I looked at them and said, are you taking a piss? I said, in 2008, I won a bronze medal for you lot. That's why you're sitting in your jobs now. So I thought, you know what? I know what this is all about. We had someone who stabbed everybody in the back, including Murray, the head coach. And I knew that they wanted to just brush all of that brush that all away. But yet, they still wanted me to stay on as assistant coach.
Yeah, so you're not good enough to coach the team, but you're good enough to be an assistant to the person who was third assistant below you.
Yeah, who I helped get the job. Now,
right,
let's be clear, I helped him get it. Murray said, nah, I don't want him. I don't want him. But yeah, all he was doing was feathering his own nest. So that's fine. So I decided, you know what? I'll be assistant for 1 year because I want to stay with the boys, make sure they win that Europeans. And then I'm going to move. So that's what happened. I left the program. Okay. In between all of that.
So then that was you applying for a men's senior coach.
And women's.
You applied for the women's. What happened there?
So that's the same time. So both jobs were available. So I got neither of those. That's fine. So then I thought, you know what? Okay, fine. I go away.
No, wait a minute. Whoa, you saw your role. So when you applied for the women's, did you make it to face-to-face interviews?
Yeah, I made it to face-to-face interviews. This is where the exchange of what I wanted for the program with the person who got the program. But he went into the interview process before me. So he put all his shit down. When I've gone in, it looks like I'm copycat, innit? But they wanted to wash their hands of anything to do with Murray. That was clear. Crystal clear. Yeah. Crystal clear. Which is fine by me. You want to go in another direction. But why then say, we'd like you to stay on being the assistant coach. We'd like you to stay on being the high performance coaches at these centres and carry on doing our athletes. So I thought, you know what? I'll do it for a year and then I'm out. And they were shocked when they said I'm going. They're like, what do you mean you're going? You know, nah, I'm off. I'm off.
Yeah. So then after that, you applied for the...
I applied again for the men's. I applied again for the women's. They got lost, so they say in the post or wherever. They got lost. I applied again in under 25 women. That got lost as well. So basically, I applied.
We got told that in the meeting, didn't we? When we went to B.W.B.
The email processor wasn't working really. Okay. Fair enough.
George's got through, but yours didn't.
No. That's fine. Which is fine. It's no problem. No problem. Well,
you know. No, but I wanted to point it out. And then you applied for The Cardiff job.
Yeah, so I went down the Cardiff job, thinking, this is definitely impartial. It's got to be impartial. Spent a couple of hours driving down there, applied for the Cardiff job because I wanted to see what this WPL was all about.
And you made it to the interview stage.
Went to the interview stage, took a training session, had a good rapport with the players, talked to a girl because she was saying, she was having this problems, and this other one was saying this one and said, this is what you do, and all of that. Took a training session. The girls and the boys loved it, because it was mixed, which I find really bizarre. I'm going for a women's Premier League job, and there's a mixed. You'd think it just should be women, shouldn't you? Really? But it wasn't. It was mixed. They loved it. 2 days later, sorry, you didn't quite fit our criteria because of this and that. You're safeguarding. Now, hold on, I'm probably the most safeguarding person in the world because I work for the council, so you have to have all of those things in. So then I knew.
And you don't just work for the council, you work with kids.
Oh, I work with kids. Loads of things.
You coach kids.
Yeah, I coach kids. You got to think about it. I've been coaching at West Brom Academy for the last 4 years. And I'm talking about from under 6s all the way up to under 16. I'm still coaching now, but it's able-bodied basketball. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
If I have to do all my safeguarding, you know what football's like, because West Brom Academy is run by the West Brom Football Club, so you have to go through all of their safeguarding. It's so rigorous, it's unbelievable. I think it's over the top, but you do it, and I get it done. But they tell me about this, so I knew then they'd made the decision. The association had made the decision. We're not having him even in that area. So I said, fine, no problem. Then what can I do? I want to give something back to the game, but hey ho, we move on, don't we? We carry on. We move on.
Yeah.
So, after you get banned,
yeah,
they said.
Now break this down slowly. Remember.
Yeah. So they sent something. What was the letter they sent to us about? Oh, we're looking into this. We've contacted the police and our lawyers. So now I'm thinking, hang about here. So John's already got his ban. So John's already got his ban. Thinking, oh right, yeah. So they're only going after Johnny. Now let me put this in layman's for you. I am not a member of the association. I don't have no membership, no nothing. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm the regular Joe Blogs doing a podcast. So as far as I know, in this world of England, it's freedom of speech. So I can say whatever I like. Yep. So I get around about the March. So it would have been the same time you got banned. In March, and I'll explain, I am also a governor at a school for disabled kids and able-bodied kids because they're trying to mix. They've asked me for ages to be governor. So I said, do you know what? Okay, I'll be a governor. They had a photo shoot for all the governors to put their picture on. I missed it because obviously I had other things to do, so I couldn't do it. I was about to do it sometime before the school starts. So I'm a governor.
So you're a governor, but you wasn't listed on the website.
I'm not listed.
You never made it.
I'm not listed. I'm not listed at them. I wasn't listed because it was about to come about. So I think it was like somewhere about March 10th, 11th, I get a letter from the school. An email from the school saying, unfortunately, an allegation has come apart that we have to investigate. You are now suspended as a governor. I'm saying, what the fuck is all that about? What do you mean I'm suspended? So I'm thinking, and it said for safeguarding issues. I'm thinking, well, hold on a minute. I've been ill. I've been off work ill with my shoulder, which I'm still waiting for an operation. So I've not been at the school. I've not had no contact with the school. I've been to one governor's meeting out of 6. So what can this be? And then ding, 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 the light bulb came on. I said to John, I've got this. I've just been banned as a governor. And he says, it's got
suspended
as a governor. Suspended as governor, sorry. He says, you're joking. I said, no, seriously, but I don't know what it's for. And he said, it's them. I said, what do you mean? It's them. How can they can't do that. I'm not a member of them. I'm not a member of anything. So my wife's like to say to the wife, she gets upset because, you know, she knows my standing in the community. I do a lot for the kids in this community. I do a lot that's under the water. You know what I mean? I go to schools, I take PE lessons. I don't charge a penny for nothing. I just do it. I'm a member of the race equality group in the council. So, I'm thinking, what the hell? So, this went on for a few months. Suspended. I asked the governors what it was. They couldn't tell me because of council issues, which I thought their process was wrong. Finally, and you got to think, finally, this is somewhere in May. Was it May, John?
Yeah.
So you're talking about 2.5 months, 3 months. End of May. So we're talking 3 months. I get a letter from the school to say, we've looked into this, and basically it's a load of bollocks. So I thought, right, okay. So then I said to the school, can I ask you what the allegation it was? And they said, it's come from British Wheelchair Basketball. So I said, right, okay. I knew it was them. So what I did to the school...
I did. I knew it was them.
What I did to the school, I said, look, I'm going to resign as governor. They didn't fire me as governor. I resigned it. I've got letters. Johnny's got the letters. I've got. If you want to see them, I've got them to show that I decided to resign to protect the school. Because the school shouldn't have to deal with that bullshit. It's ridiculous. They're just trying, you know what I mean, trying to look after their kids. So I decided to resign. They begged me to say, no. Please stay, please stay. I said, no, what I'll do is, I won't be a governor, but if you need anything, just call me. Just call me. So we had a meeting. And
Let's pause right there. So first of all, just to recap for the fans following. You was a school governor.
Yeah.
You were suspended as a governor for an allegation that had been sent by British Wheelchair Basketball.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're not listed on the website as a school governor.
Nope.
And the school in question is roughly 15, 20 minutes away from where you actually live.
Yeah, and I am in the schools in the area is over 130 schools. Over 130.
And there's no tool on the website to implement how you can research who a governor is at what school.
Yeah.
Especially when they're not on the website.
Yeah,
so the only way that's happened is what? How have they found out?
It's got to be a legal way. It's got to be a legal way. A legal contact with somebody. Because remember, I said to you, John...
What, like military police?
Maybe, yeah. I said to you, John, go on that website. I gave you the school. I'm not going to name the school because it's not fair on them. Go on the website and see if you see me as a governor. Did you see me?
No.
So how could they find out over 138 schools? Because it's not in my area. It's 10 or 15 minutes away.
I'll tell you how they found out. Because in that office where no one answers a phone and no one replies to an email, someone sat there, I'd say, for at least 3 days and rang every school within your postcode until they hit the jackpot. But if they haven't done it illegally, someone spent all that time.
But, John, even if they... In my postcode, the school's not in my postcode. This is what makes it all in more underhanded. It's not in my postcode. I'm TF10. Their school is TF1. Think about it. I'm 10, they're 1.
Wow.
So now,
you're up to the bit now where they rung you up and said, can we have this meeting with you?
So I thought, you know what? Remember I was talking to you about it. I said, you know what? I don't really want to have a meeting with them. But, you know what? I need to find out who this is. So we had a Zoom meeting. Because I know the head teacher, and I know the chair of governors very well. We do lots of things. We've been doing lots of things together, you know, sports days and all those things. We're still doing those things. So she then says, I'm going to share something with you that I think you should know. So I thought, okay, let's share this. She sent me this letter. And I looked at it and I went, are you kidding me? And it had a headed paper from British Wheelchair Basketball. And I will read you this letter now. I'll read you this letter. And you've got to remember, I'm not a member of the association. This is my personal life. as a governor. This is my legacy.
Read the letter, lad.
So, dear Miss, whoever it is, as chair of the board of British Wheelchair Basketball, I'm writing to inform you of a concern that I have about one of your school governors, Mr. Sinclair Thomas. Given your position, I felt a duty to make you aware of this concern, leaving you to take the necessary action you believe is appropriate. Notifying you of this concern is also a recommendation of our legal advisors. Mr. Thomas is part of a small group of former wheelchair basketball players who has released multiple videos on YouTube about our sport. In the videos, he makes threats of physical violence to our Chief Executive Officer. Remember, Chief Executive Officer. This is where John's got banned. She's in the meeting. She sent him the emails. Okay? Using abusive, derogatory language towards members of staff and airs misogynist views about female athletes within our sport and the investment that has and continues to be made into the women's game. Throughout the videos, his tone is hostile, aggressive, threatening. All participants have been reported to the police as it is a criminal offence to threaten or incite violent behaviour. The Board of Wheelchair Basketball are exploring steps to ban Mr. Thomas and his colleagues from our sport. Listen to what they're saying. The Board of the British Wheelchair Basketball are exploring steps to ban Mr. Thomas and his colleagues from sport. How
From
can you,
our sport.
from
as
our
though they
sport,
own the
because they own it. How can you ban me from a sport that I'm not associated with? I'm not a member of. I'm not a member of. We welcome criticism and dialogue about the organisation and how we run it, but we will not tolerate this level of misogyny, abuse and threat. I raise this. Listen to this now. I raise this with you on the recommendation of our legal and safeguarding advisor as it brings into the question the suitability of Mr. Thomas to hold a position of trust. This is particularly relevant where young and impressionable people are involved. It is particularly concerning that he is responsible for vulnerable children when he has made such violent comments. The videos can be found on YouTube by searching The Delinquent Show Wheelchair Basketball, and the episodes in questions are numbers 10, 11 and 12. If you would like to have further conversations about this, please contact me by email at her email address or on her telephone. Yours sincerely, Jules Parker Robinson, Chairman of the Board. And, as you'll see, John will put it up, it's on headed paper. Now, tell me that's not ridiculous.
Well, first of all, once again, this is a case of defamation of character, which is illegal. Secondly, the claim were threats of violence, physical violence to the Chief Executive Officer. She has to be the alleger.
Now, John.
She has to be the alleger.
Yeah,
Hang
correct.
on.
Yeah, sorry.
Uses abusive and derogatory language towards members of the staff and has misogynistic views about female athletes within our sport and the investment that it continues to make in the women's game. We've made points about the women's game, how to make it better, how to not waste money. They're not misogynistic. Threats of violence. Forget episodes 10, 11, and 12. Like I said, them episodes are now 14, 15, and 16. Go and look at every episode. There's never been a threat to anybody. There's never been a threat of violence to anybody. It's all fabrication. This letter is so illegal, it is untrue.
Which I will be contacting my solicitor. So I wanted to show you all. This is what the people that's running your show. Did she do this on her own?
Well, this is the question.
This is the question. Did she do it on her own? If she did do it on her own, she should resign immediately. If she's done it with the backing of the board, all of them should resign immediately. I do not have a membership. I've not had a membership of your board, of the association's board, for over 10 years.
To point out something in this, it says, I raise this with the recommendation of our legal and safeguarding advisors. Yeah. And also, all participants have been reported to the police. As you can see at the top of the letter, this letter was dated the 8th of March this year. And we're recording today on the 10th of July. If any of them allegations were true, we would have had contact from the police, a knock at the door, a letter, a phone call. We've never heard anything from the police.
So hold on, John.
No.
Just hold on before you said it. We haven't heard from the police. This letter was sent, right? I work for the council. Yep. This letter was sent to the school. The school passed it on to the council for them to investigate. That's where the suspension came as governor. The school investigate this, not the school, the local council, massive authority, Telford local council, safeguarding team, checked every single one of those episodes and more and found nothing, absolutely nothing that would cause any safeguarding issues. The school that I went to was embarrassed that they had to do that for me. The actual school now has lost a governor that cared about what they did.
The first and only probably Paralympian governor.
Yep, cared about what they did. I resigned. The reason why did I resign? Because of this bullshit. They're getting a school involved. Who do they think they are that they can send out letters like this?
But this and mine situation just highlights why all you people have contacted us saying, please keep me anonymous. No wonder you live in fear, knowing that this cartel can attack you this way.
And that is an attack.
It's an attack on your personal life.
It's an attack on my personal life. It's an attack on my reputation. All because they don't like what we're saying. Jules Parker Robinson, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should step down immediately.
Ex-police, and you can stoop that low.
Well, that's the society we are with the police, aren't we? Military, whatever.
Yeah,
that's what they're like.
Every program on the telly today is about bent
corruption,
coppers.
Bent coppers.
And what do we do? We put one at chair of the board.
Yep, you should be ashamed of yourself. The rest of you board members, you should all but so to be ashamed of yourself. Joe Bessie.
I can honestly say right now regarding your letter or my situation, if I was on the board, I ain't voting unanimously. I ain't agreeing to this letter being sent out. But I'm making a phone call and I'm going to speak to the guys, find out how we can solve it. I'm not acting dark like this. I mean, the stupidity of it all is this. If I had to do something like that, it wouldn't be on headed paper and it definitely wouldn't have my personal mobile phone number on.
And look how
absolute ultimate brain.
Look how responsible we are. We could have gave out her phone number live on air, so you know we're not lying. We gave the last three numbers, 726. That's her number. Check it up. Her email address. What a brain fart.
Ultimate brain fart.
And Justine, you're the CEO, and you allowed this to happen. What do you think was going to happen? What do you think was going to happen?
That's the question. What you pointed out earlier. Has Jules Parker done this without telling the board, without telling the CEO? Is the CEO's name on that letter without knowing that letter's gone out? Or are they all in on this huge conspiracy?
What did you think was going to happen? Did you think you send a letter to school and me and the delinquents would never see this letter? I believe that's what you thought was going to happen. But you don't know my standing in the community. It's not just a wheelchair basketball standing. It's a standing total. You know,
now, as it stands right now, you have bragged. You are the world-leading national governing body. At the end of this show, you're going to be known globally
as the bullies. As the bullies.
As the world-leading, most corrupt governing body.
Bullies.
Fact.
Bullies.
Now, you the members, the only way we change this is we get rid of them. You take your sport back. Take the sport back.
And you guys might be thinking, if we take this sport, it's because they want to run it. We don't want to run it. We want to continue with our show because we have so much fun on the show. We want the sport to be what the sport should be. Run by people who love the sport, not run by people who are corrupt, who are only feathering their own nests until something better comes along. You people who are staff, I know you've watched these. I know you watch these programs. How can you sit in there, and you know me personally, because I worked with you years and years ago, and just sit there and allow this to happen?
I'll give you another insight.
It makes me...
Before
hold
we
on,
move
John.
on to the...
Before you go,
Go on.
it's made me so mad and upset my family because of that one letter.
Yeah.
What that could have done if those people didn't believe in me and know who I am. Everybody knows I'm not any of those things that they've said. Everybody knows that.
No, I think the only illegal thing that's happening here with you, and I'm going to say it live on air, is that this has to be racial. It has to be a racial attack on you. The jobs that you're being turned down for, your email stuff, your applications being lost in the post, all this BS, then this personal attack. It could be racially driven, this. I honestly believe it. Honestly believe it.
Like, you at UK Sport, you're the funders. Sport England, you're the funders. Are you in on this too? Are you in on these letters that they've sent and how they work? Do you not monitor what these people are doing?
Yeah.
Because now...
UK Sport, we know you watch.
We know you watch. Jules Parker Robinson. The letter's in the open. Defend yourself. If you want to defend yourself, come on, make a statement. Come on the show and tell me why you sent this letter. What made you think that you've got that amount of power that you can send a letter that's trying to ruin my character?
Yeah.
And if you've done it on your own, walk. And if all your board members done it, walk.
All your board members should walk anyway. You voted unanimously.
I can't believe. My point is, you put two people from basketball in there, Joe Bessett and Claire Strange, all that we've done for them, and they voted unanimous.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Is it a fear factor? Are they all voting because they're frightened to stand up against the dictatorship?
No,
is that what it is?
It's not a fear factor. They want to keep doing, she wants to keep playing in the World Premier League or the World, whatever they call it. I can't remember what they call it now. And he wants to be in the coaching staff. Yet, stand up for your mates. Stand up for people that helped you along the way. When 2008 was coming, who was in your corner, Joe? Who was in your corner to get you in the team? We had a conversation. We sat there in a conversation about it. On that Magnificent 9 game, who was in your corner? Johnny was helping you all the way, and this is what you do. God, if God knows what I'd like to see you guys do to your enemies. God, you know how long it's been so hard to keep this letter from everybody else, and John, we've discussed it loads. We wanted to show it, and that's why the program is not going to be August the 23rd. That's why we had to put it out. And it is a long program, but I tell you, it's not to be missed. It is definitely not to be missed.
Let me point out these factors as well that have come into us recently. One of the ex-board members was contacted 2 years ago by Jay, who works in the office, saying, how can we take the sport back? Can you get involved? Who's he to try and recruit a new office? Right? At the same time, wasn't Jay reaching out to you trying to find information? And then when we went to the meeting at BWB, all of a sudden...
He told me he was leaving.
He told us...
Because he's had enough.
Yeah, and then all by chance, Justine said, there's only a few upstairs in the office right now. When we asked where Lord Lucan was, she said Jay's up there and a few others. So when Jay said to Cinny that he'd left, actually, we sat up there in the office, hiding behind that closed door again. Ultimate snake in that room. That's one of them. Another one. The way Gordon Perry was pushed out and the Wheelchair Roadshow. All of a sudden, this container full of all old British wheelchairs is empty. And you've got Joe's dad set up this new coaching thing. You've got Jay set up his own thing, going to all these schools. Where did they get the info on to go to these schools? This is two able-bodied people dragging wheelchairs in, getting £500 to £700 a day doing these school demos. Where did they get the info from that the schools want wheelchair basketball demos? From our office. Isn't it nice to have someone who's in that office?
Family.
To feedback.
Family.
To family. Yeah, the corruption, it's so deep in the vein. But yeah, that, my friends, is the show.
No, so but we got a final plea to you guys. You got to do this. If you don't do this after what we've told you about our personal stories, then there's no hope for this game. There's no hope, because what will end up happening is the game at a national league will collapse. There'll be no wheelchair basketball. It will collapse.
Yeah.
You've got to vote them out. If you don't vote them out for this, who's next on their radar?
Yeah.
You know,
when is enough actually enough?
Enough. Do you think you're going to keep just being anonymous, sending it to us and putting our head on the line? I put my head on the line for all of you. All you anonymous people. All you anonymous people. Me and John have put our head on the line. What's happened to us? He's got banned, but we're still here. They send a letter to a school about me being a governor. Hey, we're still here. We ain't going nowhere.
Don't forget, these brain farts in that office that's come up with this, mafiosa kind of plan. They banned me for 5 years. I haven't been involved in the sport in 12 years. The membership that I signed up for and paid for, what they reimbursed, was just to test the system. What you guys were writing in and saying it was broke, what we said at the beginning of the show. So the ban to me is irrelevant.
It don't matter. The ban is a waste of time. You could have banned you for 20 years because you're not interested. They don't get that. They don't get that, John. They don't get it. But it's down to you. It's down to you guys. You're the only ones who can change it. We can help you change it.
We've read all these messages out today saying you guys have tried to contact them. They don't answer. They won't reply. You have so many questions. We've pointed out there's a rule now where they can terminate your membership without reason. Is that an association you want to be part of? You're putting your hard-earned money into paying this membership where they can terminate it without reason. You're paying for this membership where there isn't an AGM, but you get AGM voting rights in. The lies are all there in plain sight for you all.
Time for a change. It's time for a change. If not...
But... One second.
It's time for a change. If not, don't moan about it. Just carry on doing what you're doing. We can't change it. We can help change it and we can guide it. But the only way you can change it is call for an AGM and vote the board out. No confidence in the whole association. It's the only way you're going to do it. Vote the board out. You've got no confidence in them whatsoever. And if you have got confidence in them, expect a letter coming through your door sometime soon.
Yeah.
Because
I wouldn't say personally to all you fans and members out there, try and take them on individually. Maybe between clubs, you all send an email together, you get a petition going or something. There has to be a way you can take back your sport, because right now...
John, there is a way. They've got to do it together. You can't do it on your own.
Don't forget, this is a team sport.
And we are a team.
That time you teams all united.
And I'll tell you what, me and John will stand up right here now. You don't know what I'm going to say. We'll head that team. If you want to take back your sport, we will head that team for you. But you can't stay in the shadows.
Yeah.
You can't stay in the shadows because we can't call an AGM. You can. We can't vote at an AGM, but we can speak. You can. We'll head the team.
It takes just a few of you to be brave. Reach out. Break that silence. Break the line. Once you break through that line, we'll support you.
It takes guts. Listen, we're standing here. We're still standing, as the song will go. I'm still standing. Elton John said, I'm still standing. No matter what they've done to us over the last few months, we're still standing.
Don't forget, we've mentioned before, this has happened 21 years ago. This happened. Bill Craven fought for this sport to be athlete driven, to keep it away from the suits. And 2 decades on and all that money, we're back at this situation, fighting for the sport to be athlete driven.
Think about
all that money, all that money they get
think
for
about
the roles that they
guys. All I'm going to leave you is this one thought. Think about all that money they're getting, but not giving anything to you.
Yeah.
Think about your clubs, what you could do with £212,000 that was pumped into the Women's Premier League. That was not necessary. That could have helped your club. Imagine if hold on, I'm not finished. Imagine what the Vikings could have done that before they had to close. Imagine what they could have done with that sort of money in the right hands.
And West of Scotland.
West of Scotland, what they could have done in the right hands. And this is all of you. We're not just talking about England. We're talking about Scotland. We're talking about Wales. And look at you guys in Wales. You've had numerous safeguarding matters that have not been dealt with.
Yeah, some quite severe. Where if they made national papers, they'd be front page. We know them because we've got them in emails.
We've got the emails. Northern Ireland, and even you guys in Ireland, you can help us. Let's take back our game from today. Let's take back our game. But the only person or the persons that can do it is you guys. You, the members. You can take back your game. You can shut them down. You can get rid of these idiotic board members. The chair of the board who sends out idiotic letters.
Well, in regards to idiotic letters, let me finish on this point. Post this show going out. I'm going to give them, at that corrupt association, anyone who voted unanimously against me, anyone who was involved in Sinclair's letter being sent to the school, I'm going to give you 21 days to act. And when I say act, that means I'm going to give you 21 days to either quit, walk, leave the sport, whatever. Back door, front door, I don't care. If I haven't seen any action taken within 21 days, the document that we prepared, which has been written professionally, we're going to send it with all the evidence that was shown in this show today. And they're going to get a copy of it at Justine Baines' email address, Jules Parker Robinson's email address, UK Sport are going to get a copy, Sport England are going to get a copy, Motability are going to get a copy. In fact, basically, anyone who gives you money is going to get a copy. Because we've had a document prepared to send out. And seeing as though you could contact that school Sinclair was governor at and feel it was the right thing to do, we think our letter is the right thing to do. So our letter will go out 21 days unless you take action. If you don't walk, quit, the letter goes.
So your decision is, do you stay silent? Or do you take back your sport? That is your decision.
No, I won't be afraid. Oh, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me.